Hello and welcome back to the Gamer's Tale. We're going to have a special episode tonight. We're going to be building a character. I have my brother Ty coming in. Again, he's going to be one of the players, and if everything falls out wrong, he's going to be the only player for this campaign. Today we're going to be looking at how to build a Warlock. And, excuse me, I have to turn off some things in the background, and therefore I will be right there. So we're going to be using the Roll20 application. We finally figured out how to actually screen share, so you're not just going to be wondering what the hell I'm doing. Okay. So we are going to look at the player's handbook. This is the player's handbook. You can see it's in a PDF application that we have. You're going to go over here. And you're going to go, first we're going to deal with races, and then classes. Once we have that figured out, we are going to begin to get into other stuff. So we're going to be using the character sheet within Roll20, because that is a lot easier than actually... Okay, I lost that for Roll20. Come on. So we're going to be sharing the Roll20 character sheet. All right. We're going to be getting into that. This is the GM layer, or the Dungeon Master. So one of the things that you have to realize for building characters, first we usually start out with a name and go from there. Then we choose the class, the subclass, subrace, race, and then we fill in all of this detail that is important to the game. And I really don't like the way this application is sharing, but we'll have to deal with it. And that's what those are for. All right, so these parts right here, this is your money. That's underneath item name and the total weight. I never knew what those were for, so I had that for on the 3.5 sheet that I have. I use these for some damage of my equipment, so I can easily get to it. I did not know these are actually currency. So, yeah, that's very handy, especially with this updated thing. All right. So we're going to be creating Lundgren Bask. My brother's character is going to be named that. He has chosen to build an Aasimar Warlock. So put into the race Aasimar, A-A-S-I-M-E-R, if you would, Ty.
Lots of A's. Okay.
2 A's, and then yeah, there we go. Then you put in the class. It should be Warlock.
There we go.
All right, and subrace of aasimar, because I know you want it to be a very specific type of aasimar.
Yeah, Protector.
What?
Protector aasimar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then we're going to go out over to here. I'm going to close that modification, and you're going to go over to the chat, and you're going to roll for each one of the character not proficiencies, your ability scores. These things over on the left here are called your ability scores. You're going to roll. I like this way. There are multiple ways. I do not like point buying, because then that just it makes them more manufactured rather than organic. So there are 6. There are 6 ability scores, and you're going to roll 46 6 times. You're going to drop the lowest one for each, and those are going to be your ability scores.
So rolling this /R 4d6.
Yeah, so in Roll20, you're going to use /R and 46. I'm just going to do this as an example so you can see.
All right.
All right, and in this one, it's 46. You would drop that 1, so it would be a total of 8. Which that's according to the player's handbook, And according to the player's handbook, for both 3.5 and 5e, you're going to re-roll this because you shouldn't have anything under 10. I personally have, in my 3.5 Paladin, I have a negative 1 modifier or a 9 intelligence, and I really enjoy doing that. So, obviously, my brother hasn't rolled anything, so he needs to do that
Yeah.
6
There
times.
we go.
Copy and paste. All right. So that's going to be a 14.
14.
I would suggest when you're doing this that you have something on the side to write down.
Okay, I do. I have a pad. Okay,
So you
so
have
one is 14. All right, 4d6. Hold on. I got to copy that so I can paste it another 4 times, whatever.
Also, that makes
15.
that a lot easier. That's going to be a 13.
Oh, all right, 13. I forgot about that. You got to knock that other one off, the lower one. So 11. Uh, 10. Is that a 10? No, it's
That's
another
good.
11. Because we would knock off that one, so another 11. And a 14. And for the last one, because you said 6 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is
That is going to be a 15.
15. Okay, so it looks like we got altogether 15, 2 14s, 1 13, and 2 11s.
Yes. All right. So, to prioritize with this, there's also the racial bonuses that aasimar have. We're going to be using, I believe it's D&D Wiki, or the aasimar classes. So, depending on where it is, they get a boost or a minus to some of these. I think aasimar are generally additions to their ability modifiers, according to their ability scores. So, as a warlock,
D&D.
charisma is your primary combat stat. So, charisma, possibly intelligence, constitution is also big, and strength and dexterity. Dexterity is also what your armor class bonuses are based off of. Strength is what your melee attacks, extra damage are based off of. Intelligence is intelligence. You're going to be knowing things and doing things. It's pretty much how smart your character is. Wisdom is how practical application they are. So, like, know not to put your hand in the fire kind of thing. And charisma is generally going to be what you'd have to be how suave you are, how good at interfacing with people.
Okay. So the D&D wiki says here that for aasimar trait, the ability score increase is charisma +2.
Mm-hmm.
And under protector aasimar, it says the wisdom score increase is +1.
Okay, so you're going to choose from that list of roles that you had. You're going to choose one to go into each one of these, and whatever it is, with those ability increases, you're going to add those to the number that you would put here within this spot.
Okay.
So, if you chose, let's say, 11 for your charisma, which is you probably shouldn't do as a warlock at all.
Yeah.
You would add +2, and that would make it a 13.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, since I can do this, however I would rather do, I'm going to take the highest roll, which would be a 15, then put a +2 on that for the charisma bonus to make it 17.
Correct.
All right.
You're going to click on the little bottom portion. Oh, cool! It's really handy when they put in the filler content for you because it's hard to remember.
Okay. So that I'm going to cross that off. Now, this is what I wanted to discuss with you as well as everybody who's going to listen to this eventually, about what I should do for, like, right now I would have, like, for Constitution, I probably also have to do a high roll for that, but I didn't know if I should do, like, Wisdom or something else, because right now I have, like, 2 14s, and if I did that, I could change just one of those 14s into a 15 if I was going to put it into the Wisdom stat.
you could put it in there. You can put it wherever you wish. Some people like making extremely powerful characters. Other ones like ones with more flavor, where they have very large flaws, such as very low charisma, very low strength, or very low dexterity. Personally, I have no dexterity in my paladin, so he's pretty much just this heavy metal tank that can take a lot of damage, but he's not going to be the guy who's going to be jumping around and backflipping.
Huh, okay. So you said my weapon strikes are going to be based on, for strength, how much damage?
Okay, so when people are using base melee attacks, if they don't have a feat, I don't know if it's featured in 5e because I haven't really looked at feats in 5e, is to have strength is the basis for what you hit and how much damage you hit for with a melee weapon.
Okay.
If you've got a proficiency with a dexterity-based weapon, that is a melee weapon, the strength bonus is also added to the damage.
Oh.
But if you have an ability that allows you to go off of your dexterity, and you have a high dexterity, that would be used for your melee attack, determining whether it hits or not. So something like a rapier, possibly a short sword, are going to be based off your dexterity if you have a appropriate feat for it. But the damage is still increased by the level of strength that you have. So currently, if you have no dexterity, your melee weapon would be based off of your strength modifier.
Okay.
I would suggest doing something for your constitution first before dealing with anything else. Otherwise, you're going to be extremely squishy.
Okay. I'm going to put a 14 into there just to make it. I think being squishy would be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I can make that 14 into a 15 for wisdom, or the 13 into a 14.
And if this is your first time ever building a character, don't worry. It does take hours even for experienced players to do anything at all.
Okay.
I've had to help 3 to 4 people build a character in the last month or so, and it always takes about 30 minutes to an hour to get them in and do all the stuff regarding their hit points, their skills, all the things.
So, oh man. Okay, so
it really helps if you have an idea of what you want to do with your character, and this can guide what choices you have. My brother here has been thinking about this for a week, and he wants to emphasize that I want to be able to kill everything, because starting out as Warlock, you only have a couple of spells. You also only have a very limited number of them when you start out. So he's been focusing, should I have a melee weapon? He's chosen one that allows him to do the largest amount of damage possible if he hits, which for a simple weapon. And that's his kind of thing. He's focusing in more on a combat aspect rather than a roleplay aspect. And for me, I find you have to have a proper balance between the two before anything. Because I've read, yeah.
This will be part of me figuring out how to get that in between. And for later, Friends is a cantrip, by the way.
Yes, I read that. I noticed. When going into it's very easy actually in the 5e handbook to find the list of spells for each class, and I found that very helpful because it was not that way in 3.5. So the spell list includes level 0 spells known as cantrips. If I remember correctly, Warlocks get 2 of those per day. And they get level 1 spells. In 3.5, you get additional spells based off of whatever your spellcaster goes off of. So things like Warlocks and Paladins, they go off of Charisma. So he would get a certain extra set of spells because his Charisma is actually very similar to my Orc Paladins. And I get one level 1 and one level 2 spell a day based off of my charisma. But that mechanic was removed in 4th edition and 5th edition and has not been added back since. So, unfortunately, Ty here is stuck with just roughly 4 spells a day, in addition to the ones that he gets as an aasimar.
Yeah, I'll have to get into that when we get to that portion. Okay, I don't really know. I think I'm going to put the 13 into wisdom, so I'm going to use my racial bonus for +1 for Protector Aasimar to make it a 14. Did that come out right?
Yes.
Okay. I got to cross it off. So basically I have a 14 and 2 11s now.
You're supposed to be keeping track of this.
Yeah, I know. An intelligence of 11 doesn't really mean I'm stupid, does it?
Okay, so there's actually a graph within D&D. Intelligence of 10 is the average citizen.
Okay.
10 is considered to be average. 10 is the absolute average. So my character, who has an intelligence of 9, is only slightly below average intelligence, but I ham it up a bit so that he doesn't really get a lot of things because there's a cultural difference. So no, having intelligence 11 does not make you stupid, and people have way too much time on their hands to worry about that.
Okay. I'm going to put an 11 into intelligence. I'm going to put the other 14 into strength. And therefore the other 11, my last thing, into dexterity. So for good or for ill, there we go.
All right. So this is where we start dealing with the nitty-gritty of Warlockism. For lack of a better term, if you have a player's handbook, I'm not going to show the actual player's handbook because, except for that small blip, I don't know if there's any problem things with showing that. So we're going to assume you have a player's handbook or a D&D 5e player's handbook or whatever application that they have in Roll20, because they also offer rules and other things. You can search libraries and
or
other
access to the D&D wiki.
Yeah, they have D&D 5th edition. So we're going to go down here to classes, and we're going to go down here to Warlock, and that's going to bring up all the stuff that we need. But we have our own 5e handbook PDF that we're going to be using, but we're just going to be showing you this. All right. So the hit dice for Warlock is 1d8, and you're going to put that into your hit dice. For the ease of everything, we're going to be using max hit dice. So to determine your maximum level of hit points is going to be 8 plus your Constitution modifier at level 1, and as it says here, hit points at higher levels is going to be 1d8 plus your Constitution modifier per Warlock level. We're just going to do max. We're not going to be using the average of 5 that they have here because, let's be honest, it can turn out really bad if you don't, and the higher hit points you have, the more likely I, as the DM, can beat on you without having to risk you actually dying. It means you can have a longer adventure, a better adventure, and not have to worry about, oh my goodness, we're level 1. These goblins have managed to murder us in our sleep because we have so low hit points. This is going to be, you have, if I remember correctly, you have 10 hit points currently.
Okay, so it's 1d8 plus my Constitution modifier.
Yes.
Which in this case is 2.
Yes.
So I'll put 10 in the current hit points bit. There we go.
Okay. So it says
So
here,
I need to put that anywhere else.
There should be. I'm going to skip over here to the character sheet. All right. So current hit points is right there. It's already been added into. I would also add it into up here at the maximum hit points. There's just a little bar above there that goes in there, so that your
Oh, I
current
didn't
hit
see
points,
that. Okay.
that you can subtract from your current hit points, and not wonder how many hit points do I have in total, and have to really figure it out.
I did not see that before.
All right. We're not going to go into personality traits, ideals, bonds, or flaws today because those are actually kind of a pain in the butt. There actually are things listed in the handbook for each one of these, and that's just way too much detail for me personally. We do have to figure out your character's alignment, which generally would be along the lines of chaotic or a neutral class. I would not suggest ever doing an evil class. Those are really hard to play.
Okay.
But there are people who enjoy evil campaigns. You can do so, but it just opens up to a lot of really shady behavior that can be really kind of disturbing to roleplay, especially
Yeah.
if you're trying to set that up. And I mean, it's bad all around. All right. Going off of the research that he has, his land speed I think should be 30 for the
That's
aasimar.
what it said in the 30 feet in the
Okay, so
aasimar.
put 30 under speed. 30 is the base land speed for everything. So if it has more or less, that's where it gets
Where
different.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yes.
I didn't see that. Speed 30.
Yes.
All right. Got it.
All right. So we're going to go back over here to the SRT within Roll20. Until I find it. Come on. All right. So it says here that their proficiency with the following items: light armor, simple weapons, no tools. You're to choose 2 skills from this small list, which they have as Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. They have examples of starting equipment, and they have various proficiencies. And they have a nice little list here. And we probably won't be getting into all 26 of them.
Yeah.
And you can just look through these things. We have the spell slots, spell loan, the first level and higher, spell casting ability. Look at that just a little bit. All right, and for the spell save, is 8 plus a proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. So since he has, if he chooses a proficiency, his proficiency bonus would be, I think you chose it for wisdom. I don't know why. Let's check that out. All right. On the character sheet, we have this list of proficiencies. He has a proficiency in charisma and wisdom, which means that since he has a proficiency bonus of 2 and a charisma of 3, his spell DC, his spell save, get back to the source document. Spell DC, we skip by all the stuff, and this is the only reason why I don't like having electronic resources, because you can't flip to them very easily, and there's a lot of scrolling. So your spell DC would be 13, and your spell attack modifier would be 5. So whatever spell he's casting, he's going to be adding 5 to the spell attack roll, which would be a 1d20 plus 5.
Is there some place I can put that?
You're just going to have to remember it, I think, along the lines.
Okay,
You can put
so
it in one. You can put it in one of the notes sections that you have in your character sheet.
spell save DC is 13,
Yes.
and my attack mod is 5. All right, that works.
Okay, so spellcasting focus. It says you can use a spellcasting arcane focus for warlock spells. What that is you have an actual object which to put the spell through. This is if my understanding of it is. dealing with Eldritch invocations. And there's the pacts. And if I remember correctly, you are a Pact of the Tome, correct?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, yes.
Okay. So he's going to be carrying a grimoire called the Book of Shadows, as you can see here. He can choose 3 cantrips from any class spell list. 3 need be from the same list. While the book is on your person, you can cast them at will. They don't count as against your numbers of cantrips known. So pretty much, with the Pact of the Tome, he has 3 extra cantrips he can use a day, and he doesn't need to. They don't. What's it called?
They don't count against me.
Yes.
Because normally warlocks can only know 2 cantrips at level 1.
No, it's not that. It's since they can cast it well, as long as they have the book, they can be used as much as possible during the day. I mean, they don't count against your daily count, which I believe cantrips. Let's see if we can click on this and bring anything up.
The free ones.
Cantrip is a spell that can be cast at will without using a spell slot and without being prepared in advance. So pretty much you have 5 cantrips at level 1, plus the 2 that you get from being an aasimar, which is, if I remember correctly, Dancing Lights and...
Let me see. And I think it's Cure Wounds. We'd have to get to that later.
No, we're going to get to that now.
See. Oh, okay. It says Healing Hands. As an action, I can touch a creature and cause it to regain a number of hit points equal to my level. In this case, 1.
Yay!
And I use this.
While that sounds like nothing, that can be used to give someone a quick revive and allowing them to go from being unconscious to at least stabilizing them so they're not bleeding out, which can actually be very helpful.
I'm writing this down in the notes section because I don't have anywhere else to write it. And it also says Healing Hands Light Bearer. I know the light cantrip.
Which is pretty much you can create something to go, boom, hey, it's light.
Okay, so what was it? For somehow... Oh, yes, that was my patron. We'd get to that later. I was skipping ahead to that in my head.
Yeah, okay, so each warlock has a patron. So as they describe it, since warlocks are very similar to paladins, paladins have an employer, warlocks have a sugar daddy. That's how they describe it. So pretty much...
Sorry.
Uh-huh. Okay, so there are generally... It's mentioned that the features are Otherworldly Patron and Pact Magic. So choosing which pact you are, which is Pact of the Tome. We've already covered what he gets for that. And what's it called? Where is his Otherworldly Patron? You have an Otherworldly Patron, being of your choice. In the book, you have... Let me just see if I can find it real quick. They have a long list in the book. Patrons can include old gods or old ones, archfey, and he has chosen celestial compared to fiends and great old ones.
Or the fiend, or the ghost in the machine, or could be a hexblade, or the Raven Queen, or it says the Seeker, or the Undying. Those are the only ones listed in the wiki, but those might not be the only ones available.
I would suggest going off of the player's handbook.
Okay.
Because that's what we're going to be using. They only have the Fiend, the Great Old Ones, and the Archfey, and we're going to let it in with Celestials.
Okay.
Alright, so that means that...
Wiki has it listed also as that at first level I get the additional spells First level, guiding bolt and cure wounds.
Okay, so that would be the patron, otherworldly patron magic stuff.
And a
Which
bonus cantrip of sacred flame and light, which as an aasimar I already know light, so
okay, so there's another thing, as he's been using other stuff to try to get a overpowered character, as we refer to it. So this is actually a pretty good thing for him to be doing, to be layering both his class and his race to get the most out of it. How he's going to play that character, this is going to be interesting to see.
also it says here that at first level I get a pool of d6s I can spend to heal others. It says the number of dice in the pool equals 1 plus my level. It's in this case 1.
Which I think along is the lay on hands or healing touch.
Does that conflict with healing hands where I can heal 1 hit point once a day, because this says I'm using d6s?
Okay, so that's what is the D6 is under?
Healing light.
Okay, so that's underneath healing light.
Yeah.
You didn't say healing light. You said I get a pool of D6s to use.
Sorry, it says under healing light, it says at first level you a pool of d6s you can spend to heal others.
Okay, so there's a good example. You should read everything for your spells and for your class abilities very clearly, because if you jump right in the middle of a section, you're not going to understand what it's going to be saying. That's the only gripe I have about some parts of D&D books and how things are written, is they can be quite confusing, especially with my brother, because he can jump right in the middle of things and leave some stuff out. All right, so he is a pact of the Tome celestial patron aasimar Warlock. What is your alignment? Which is the 9 alignments are lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, lawful neutral, neutral or not, neutral good, true neutral, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, and chaotic evil.
Can we do chaotic good?
Yes. Most
What?
characters are chaotic good or chaotic neutral, depending on what it is. Chaotic neutral is very kind of apathetic. So most people are either neutral good or chaotic good in the way they play and what they're classified as.
Is there someplace on this particular sheet where I can write that, or no?
There should be place. You can either put that in the bio.
Bio. Up here we go. Whoa. It's like a
Why is
blank sheet.
there is a source racial source type dwarf fighter 4th level?
I don't know. That was just on the sheet. I didn't put it there.
Okay, we're going to put that to
The side.
aasimar Warlock. Level 1.
Okay, maybe I could put it someplace on the character sheet where it's prominent. I can see it if there's not a space for it. Let's do it. Chaotic good. I'll put it under the race, even though I know it doesn't belong
Put it
there.
in personality traits.
Okay. Chaotic good. All right, that's helpful.
I don't really use a lot of the stuff that they have underneath the attributes and abilities because that's just a pain in the butt. All right.
Whoa. What just happened?
I switched you over to the biography. So character appearance, that's how you would put your description. If I remember correctly, you are a very pale individual because you are aasimar, 5'9". So you can put that over in this character appearance on the left hand large thing.
5'9" pale dude. Let's
Also,
do.
your color and eye color as well. Oh, hey, cool. Up at the top, we have age, size, height, weight, eyes, skin, and hair.
Size medium. Let's do 25. Eyes green, skin pale, hair brown. Weight, let's do 165, and height 5'9". That's helpful.
Did you suddenly get closer to your microphone?
No. Should I move it further away?
Weird, because you were suddenly very, very clear. All right.
Okay. Oh,
So,
you switched from core.
yeah.
Okay. I gotcha.
All right, so this is generally going to be very helpful for you.
Yeah.
You can write down your appearance, which I'm going to assume you're going to be in just like plain clothes. And we're going to get to the wait, hang on. We're going to go back to the core.
Maybe. Whoop.
We're going to go back to the core. You can switch over there yourself.
Okay.
We're going to the SRD, and we're going to go to the starting equipment. He has, which is starting equipment is a light crossbow bolt and 20 bolts. We usually bump that up to 30 because that's just more useful. Or any simple weapon. He has chosen a scythe, which is, I believe, a 2d12 weapon, a component pouch, or arcane focus. Component pouches are pretty much Batman's utility belt in a pouch. You have the little ingredients in there for the various spells, or an arcane focus, which just serves the same thing and puts it elsewhere.
In the scythe section of the Homebrew D&D wiki, it says scythe is 2d4 slashing.
I'm pretty sure I sent you a player's handbook.
Oh. Okay, that was one of the parts that I did not look at. I looked at a lot of other parts.
All right. For the player's handbook, here's something you should always make clear beforehand. What you're going to be using as a source. So use the player's handbook. I gave it to you for a reason.
Okay, scythe 2d12.
Okay, let's see if I can find that in the resource document that I have. Simple melee weapons. Club, dagger, great club, hand axe, javelin, light hammer, mace, quarterstaff, sickle, spear, unarmed strike. Yes. And here the sickle is 1d4 slashing. But that is that's a simple melee weapon. I think that's for one hand. Okay, so I'm gonna allow since your heart has been so set up on finding the most kick-ass melee weapon you can have as a simple weapon, I'll let you have the scythe.
Okay, so you said that's 2d12?
What does your resource have for a scythe?
My resource listed as 2d4.
Okay, it's 2d4 then.
Someplace where I can put that?
Yes, it's called in your equipment.
Okay.
You're going to go back to your character sheet, and you're going to go down to the bottom part, and it says equipment.
Yes, I can see this. Indeed.
It's okay. Going back to the SRD for the Warlock, we're going to look at basic equipment again. Right. So he gets all of these things, which is a light crossbow or a simple weapon. Any simple weapon and 2 daggers. Make sure you include that. Whatever's in a Scholar's Pack or a Dungeoneering Pack, those have various other things. An arcane focus and leather armor.
Let's see, dagger 1. Dagger 2.
Daggers generally do 1d4 damage.
1d4. D4. Leather armor.
Okay, hang on. We're going to go back. All right. A leather armor. Leather armor. On the research document that they have in Roll20. AC is 11, so since you have literally no dexterity, your armor class is 11, and you should be putting that into your character sheet over here. So armor class, right next to your initiative and to your speed, you have no bonus to initiative. So it's above
Okay.
your hit points? There we go.
Yes.
All right. Going off of that, have the... All right. So we have these. Do you want an arcane focus or a component pouch, a scholar's pack, or a dungeoneer pack?
Are we going to use components?
If you have the component pouch, I'm going to assume that you have kept it up and have the components.
Oh, okay.
Or you can just use an arcane focus and we can just forget about components altogether.
I think that would be easier.
Yeah. So having components, which I probably will feature in this a bit more, is kind of a tool to regulate players' abilities. It also adds scarcity for components, so if they want to do a particular spell, they have to get particular items, and if they don't have those items, they will not be able to perform that spell. All right, so we can check out Dungeoneering Pack has crowbars, 50 feet of hempen rope, pitons, a hammer, and a couple of other things. Scholar's Pack features a backpack, a book of lore, a bottle of ink, an ink pen, 10 sheets of parchments, a little bag of sand, and a small knife.
Huh. I will
also read the Dungeoneer Pack. A backpack, a crowbar, a hammer, 10 pitons, 10 torches, a tinderbox, 10 days of rations, a water skin, and 50 feet of hempen rope.
The Engineer's Pack sounds better to me as an adventurer, but the Scholar's Pack seems better to me as a warlock.
Well, which one would your character choose?
My character would probably choose the Scholar's Pack.
Okay, then choose the Scholar's Pack.
Okay, so I need to put...
Just put Scholar's Pack in the
equipment area.
You'll be able to find it in the... You'll be able to find it in the resource document, especially for Roll20, because they're very helpful with putting things that way.
Okay.
All right. I think we have that all sorted out. You've got your base ability scores, your hit points. Oh, you chose 2 proficiencies, correct?
Proficiencies? Oh, like which ones I wanted to do. I was thinking about that. Then we moved on.
You already clicked on 2 of them already, though.
Oh. How did I do that?
Quite literally in... God damn it. All right, looking at your character sheet. Proficiency bonus. Saving throws, you have ones in Wisdom and Charisma.
Oh, I thought that was... I guess I was confusing that with skills.
Yeah, those are your proficiencies. Now you have to choose a couple of skills.
2 skills from the short list. We had Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion? Something like that.
Proficiencies. Where are those? Come on. Mystic Arcanum, Eldritch Master, These are not the things I
I think
need.
that's up further.
Yes, I'm figuring that out. All right.
There it is.
Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation. Choose 2.
So 2 of those. Let's do Arcana, Deception. I did Arcana last time for another character. Let's do Intimidation. Relies on charisma, doesn't it?
Yes. Is your guy an asshole who keeps trying to get his way through force?
I don't really have an output of force, so not really.
So
Let's do.
you have to be able to balance the skills you want and the character you're trying to build.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling this to the audience.
Oh, okay. Yes. Investigation. Let's do. So I can only choose 2. I did other things last time, so let's do History and Investigation.
Okay.
And I'll put little check marks. Where are we at? History and Investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized I chose something I have no bonuses in.
So?
Because they're intelligence based.
It means we have proficiency in those. Which means that, going back over to your character sheet, you have a proficiency bonus, which means if you go to History, Investigation, you get your proficiency bonus, which is 2. So you get a modifier of 2.
Okay.
All right. If I remember correctly, it's 44 plus something for your starting money. I forget what the something was. Oh, it was 44 plus 10. All right, so roll 44 in the chat. Be over here. And then add 10 to it, or you can roll just r/44 plus 10, and that will be your starting gold.
20 GP.
Yay. All right.
Is there someplace where I put that?
Yeah, in the equipment, the thing that looks kind of like 2 parentheses, second from the bottom, that's gold. And that's actually what the little gold pieces look like in-game, not the round ones that I'm used to. All right, so it's increments of 10 for each of those. So it's 10 copper equals to 10 silver equals to 10 electrium to 10 gold, or to 10 electrium to 1 gold to 10 gold per platinum.
Okay.
So roughly you have 2 platinum here.
I just realized something.
What?
I have to pick my other cantrips, the 5 of them from the 3 from all the other spell lists that I can pick because I'm packed to the tome.
Okay. That could take literally hours for you to do that. And since we're getting close to our hour mark, I would like to at least get into the story a little bit, and you're not going to be fighting anything, so you're not going to require those 5 cantrips.
I'll pick that on my own time then. Okay.
All right. So as you can see here, he has the Patron of Celestial, Pact of the Tome, Sacred Flame cantrip, Light cantrip, and he still needs to pick 5 of these. He has Guiding Bolt, Cure Wounds, which are not the same thing and should be in 2 different parts because those are 2 different things.
Here, I'll fix it.
Y'all clicked on spells.
I know. I should probably put everything that I put in the notes section over there on my own time later.
All right. So now to set the stage, which I probably have to do most of the time, especially when we get more players. All right. People who followed the channel remember that we had the Adventures of the Onyx Feldspar previously. This was followed the crew of an aquatic airship that was magically enchanted and capable of both flight both flight and
Sailing.
both sailing and flight. I'm sorry, I was switching from screen sharing so that you weren't looking at the map. All right, so the Onyx Feldspar itself is several thousand years old, unbeknownst to most of the crew. And this time period is well before the cataclysm that caused the apocalypse that shaped the landscape into what Leonidas and Tasty Cakes were fighting through before, and creating things like Everest and all the thing. This is happening on a much different continent, several thousand years in the past. We are in the area known as the Golden Age of Arcana, so there's going to be more high magic and a decent amount of technological advancement at this time compared to we have guns with metal cartridges and a lot of electronics and like electric lighting, and everything's going to be more magic based. So this is going to have possibly basic black powder firearms like muskets and things like that, if at all. And this is going to be more bows and arrows, high fantasy Lord of the Rings setting. On this continent, we are going to be following. Goddamn, if I didn't already forget the name.
Lundgren
Bosk. An aasimar Warlock. We're going to screen share. So we're back to that stuff again. Right. We're going to be following Lundgren Bosk, an aasimar with a celestial patron. We are in his hometown of Northspire in the northern mountain ranges of the continent. The mountain range itself is known as Northspire because the massive peak north of the town, and it lends its name also to the small village, which you can see represented here with these little boxes. This is not the extent of the town. This is just to give you kind of a makeup. And the thing that has a weird little thing on top of that is the local church. Now, Lundgren has been living there all of his life, and at one point during his time there, maybe about 2 weeks back, we're going to zoom in on his character. He's in his house, which we'll say for the sake of argument is this little thing right here. There we go, right there. Now, 2 weeks ago, he had this very vivid dream. This very bright kind of entity, man-shaped with wings, appeared to him and handed him over this book. And it asked of him that there's a time coming for Northspire that winter and rain always negatively impact the village, and the way to do good by the village is to find technology and to bring magic to the village in order for them to live better lives and to develop and conquer the mountainous landscape that they find themselves in. The celestial being has now given Lundgren a task to find and explore technology and to bring it back to his village so that they may be able to prosper and advance with the rest of the world as they are being quickly left behind. This is a town full of mountain shepherds, very basic rough-hewn cloth, and not a lot of the amenities that a lot of the other towns have. So he's now taken upon himself to follow his patron's request and see if he can find a source of technology in order to get here. So we're going to zoom in on him in his house. It's about, let's say, 7 a.m. It's just starting to get to either, it's kind of a spring-ish, so it's not all that cold and it's not all that warm either. It's just starting to be where the The melt from the mountains is going to possibly lead to a lot of trouble with him getting out, so he's going to begin his journey very soon and head east because there are reports that a lot of magic and technology is being accumulated there. Enter Lundgren Bask.
Hello.
Okay, so you're in your house. It's a very modest dwelling. It's kind of like a small cottage. It's got a loft. There's a bed on the ground floor, a cooking area, a place for you to sit, and a couple of books. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when you woke up from the dream, you had, weird dreams happen. You were handed a book. Surely this is nothing to get upset about. But on your table by your bed, there was the book handed to you. And for those 2 weeks, you have not touched it, and you've only thought about should you leave the village or not. What you're sitting in bed. You probably just woke up. What do you do?
Well, I'm gonna need to get out. I have to get out now. I mean, if I live by myself and there's not a lot of people I need to say goodbye to, I mean, I could just pick the book up, put on my cloak, pick the book up. I mean, the book seems important, and I could just take it with me.
Good. Do you do
Just
that?
leave. Yeah. Get my cloak on, my armor, and a little cloak that I have, and I pick up the book and my other items, and then I'm starting on the way out.
All right. As you leave your house, you've lived here for 25 years. You obviously know people around there. You should probably check in a few of them, or at least before taking on such a dangerous journey, especially heading down the mountain, possibly pray for some sort of protection or something at the church, or at least because this is a very religious village. Think for a reference in the real world, think Eastern Slavic kind of thing, where it's heavy into Eastern Orthodox Christianity, but instead one of the gods of D&D, most likely Pelor, or the Dawn, also known as the Dawn Father.
Okay. I'm going to go to church to petition the village's deity and the deity of my character for protection and guidance, for sure.
So as you're walking up, you see Grenwald Birch, the mayor, on his way about his business in the morning, and you have you're probably the whitest person in town. You're very pale. Everyone has thought you're probably anemic at some point, despite the fact that you have a decent ability of helping people with their livestock and working in the fields along with the rest of the town. But you've always been kind of this sickly pale individual, and it doesn't help that your green eyes and your brown hair kind of mark you out from everyone else who's more swarthy skinned, and you don't really seem to tan all that much.
Mayor, what's up?
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Bask. Why are you up so early? And you seem like you're going to be ready on a journey.
This is going to sound very interesting, but I've had a dream, Mayor.
As we all do, Mr. Bask. As we all do.
After saying my goodbyes, I'm going to be leaving the village for a while.
Oh? For what reason?
I've had a dream that my patron, a celestial being, came to me to tell me that I should travel east so that I can gain knowledge of technology and magic to help our village.
I was going to bust in as DM here. Probably not the best plan to tell people in a remote, highly religious village that you had a dream and you're told to go do something. All right, so back into character.
Usually out of character, I can say usually I would not. I'm just trying to figure out what I would say as this character.
Grinwald Birch just kind of looks at you. Everyone not necessarily thinks you're the village idiot, but they've definitely shunned you for at least a good 3 to 4 years, and he's just kind of saddened now that he thinks you probably have gone into madness.
That's very sad.
He says, "Well, I wish you well on your journey." Here, he takes from his satchel and hands you some cheeses and bread, equal to about a day's 1 day's worth of rations, possibly. So now you have 11 in your dungeoneering set. And he just kind of turns from you and goes back to his business, wondering if he will ever see the strange, pale individual that he's known for probably about 10 to 15 years, if not longer, because he's also lived. He's known you for about 25 years. He's much older than you. He's been the mayor, elected on and off, for a long time, since after this village has been founded.
Thanks so much, Mayor. See you later.
He just kind of sadly waves over his shoulder and begins going towards another prominent building in the village.
All right, then. I'll continue on to the church.
All right. You get to the church. Father Wilhand is preparing his morning practices for opening up services for the Dawn Father. It's not really the day of worship for it, but he's always happy to see somebody coming in. Oh, good morning to you, my son. How are you?
Doing fine. Doing really good.
Okay. You seem rather stiff this morning. Is there something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong.
Okay, young Basque. Then why are you here so early? I don't usually see you at the church, especially days like today.
True. I'm here to petition. Maybe I think I should be a little more devout from now on.
It's always good to find faith, especially in our young life. Father Wilhelm is probably about. He's also rather old. He's probably in his 60s or his 70s. So, to most people, kind of ancient. It's a very hard life here. The number of people who are 60 or 70 are probably maybe 10 people out of the 1 to 200 people who live here. And most of them are either roughly around your age or, children. And mid-30s, there's a lot of hazards in the mountains, not necessarily from animals and creatures, although those do exist, but also just from the nature itself. The environment can take a toll on the populace of this town, which is one of the reasons why your patron has tried to convince you to go and help it.
Okay, sure. I'm just wondering what to tell the preacher, if anything.
And he's just kind of looking at you.
Okay. Are there any... Well...
You're standing outside the church right now.
Oh, outside. Okay, yes. I want to go in.
Oh, okay. You push past him. Yes, he's still kind of confused after your statements, because you've never really you've been here obligatory because everyone kind of comes to the church at some point, and for the various masses, for lack of a better term, but you're usually in the later bunch just because it's kind of like town policy.
Then it would look odd, extremely odd.
You've already kind of descended into madness with the mayor, and he's probably going to be
He spread it around, has he?
No, he's going to be spreading it around.
Oh, does the old man and the mayor good friends?
Well, he hasn't talked to the mayor yet.
Oh. Huh.
All right, so you go in, you walk down the central aisle. There's pews on either side, little nooks and crannies, votive candles, things like that. The symbol of Palor over the small altar in the back.
Can I like pray at it, pray toward it?
Yeah, so you walk to like the front of the pews and you bow your head and do the genuflecting knee thing, and just kind of sit there and pray for safe travels and success upon your holy quest that your patron has set you upon. Um, the Father Wilhelm is still kind of watching you oddly just from the door. You get up and you once again approach him on your way out. Hey, Lord's blessing upon you, my son.
As well as to you, Father, Pastor Wilhelm.
I see you have a way with words as ever. And as you leave, he just kind of closes the door, not necessarily with impetus, but a little bit relieved that the whole ordeal is kind of over.
Okay.
All right, so you're standing probably 10, 20 feet outside the church door. The path down to path down the mountain is south of you.
Okay.
So you are in the northern mountain range. And the north spire is quite large and very hazardous to cross. Going north, at least, because it's like
Okay.
the very, very emphatic boundary of this part of the world.
Oh, okay.
This part of the world, there's rumors that stuff may exist on the other side of it, and probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people are lost trying to find that out. And yours is not the only village that is inhabited by it, but this is the closest to the large peak known as North Spire.
Okay, so are we in the habit of having contact with other villages?
It's not yours. Yours is the only village in this area. There are more villages, of course, especially on the plains, the grasslands that are south of the North Spire, which you'll be heading towards. And there's places hundreds of miles to the east and west of North Spire Village, but not really anything around here. There's the odd hermit.
Okay.
You also have heard, just in the back of your mind right now, you hear the same voice that you heard in the dream about a set of caravans that cross the continent back and forth all the time. You should probably go and find them and join one of them. And you feel just like a little push in the back of your head in kind of a particular direction to the south of you.
Okay.
That really leads out of town. But kind of even farther beyond that, you just kind of, in your mind's eye, you see a speed rushing across the mountains from a bird's eye view, all of a sudden down to a small trail that has probably seen better days, but it's a dirt road. There are wagon wheel treads in it, very well worn. It's obviously used a lot, and so all of a sudden you rush back into your kind of being aware of your surroundings again. You're still standing in the middle, kind of in the middle of town. You have the deep knowing on the inside that, okay, this is the path I'm supposed to be taking.
Is there anybody else in town, prominent in town or otherwise, I need to say goodbye to because I have a deep relationship with them? Or
No, they're most of the people in town either by name, but you really haven't sunk down a lot of roots here. You've kind of kept to yourself, especially after your parents passed.
Okay. Then I should probably take my leave, I'm thinking.
Alright, so Lingard Bass begins walking toward the south edge of town, and he finds the major road that goes down, and he starts walking through it, and so that's where we're going to end tonight's adventure. That's how this is what we've had for building an aasimar Warlock. We've looked into that. Next time, hopefully, we'll find out what happens after he's left town, and he'll have chosen his 5 cantrips, and possibly gotten on the road with the caravan. So, if you enjoyed that, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out some of our other content. It's mostly for fun. It's not necessarily for real serious use, but we enjoy doing this. I know I at least do, and most of the other people I've had on have enjoyed this. Just shooting the breeze and enjoying D&D and video games. Either way, it's been fun and a little nerve-wracking, especially finally figuring out how to do screen sharing on this. And hopefully that'll help with content, being able to see what I'm actually seeing and what they're actually seeing, and help show stuff, because I've had a lot of maps and no one's really been able to see any of them, and I know me just sitting here talking isn't all the best, so I'd like to thank Ty for coming on and starting another campaign with D&D with me. And,
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed it.
And also putting up with my bullcrap, because I give him so much all the time. Without further ado, cool music plays as the lights go down, and we'll catch you next week on the next episode of finding out, or of forging the Onyx, and we'll see just where Bask is going. Toodaloo.